I don't think infighting is really the way forward as a community.
I encourage infighting. Let's not mistake that for genuine criticism. Let's not mistake that for people trying to offer alternatives.
I have thoughts and opinions, good ones, the right ones before you come at me, as in the left ones, but they're right, you know? I didn't actually know that we had a Supreme Court.
I'd be willing to bet you're a lefty because you're trans.
I'm trans. Obviously, I have good opinions about trans people.
She's got some good points here. Like, some of this is like actually just true.
I don't have to constantly yap about needing respect. I can show that coming out, transitioning can be the right thing for you because I showcase living a fulfilling.
Yeah, remember when being trans was like a personal thing because you feel a certain way and not just an in to some fucking radical movement. So you're saying the petition I signed to end the war in Gaza won't work. Oh no, that will work. Listen, petitions in Western countries miles and miles and miles away from Gaza are definitely what's going to end the war, I would say.
In the war against the woke mind virus, I am on the side of the woke mind virus.
No. We've got a video from someone called Icky, who is quite well known as a trans person. I think they used to date that Finster person. I think it's probably a similar genre. I have tried watching Finster like once. It just went straight over my head. I didn't understand what was going on. But I mean, this is interesting. Someone mentioned it in my chat, I think yesterday. Why I'm not a trans activist. So this might be relatable. I'm going to have to see whether this is like another Brianna Wu type thing or whether this person is genuine. You know what I mean?
Hi, I'm Icky and England is bad. That about covers it. If you're from the UK, you probably already know what I'm talking about. And even if you're overseas somewhere, you've probably heard the news. The Supreme Court in the UK, I didn't actually know that we had a Supreme Court. And then someone in chat told me that they used to be called law lords. But the Supreme Court ruled that in the 2010 Equalities Act, women, whenever they are referenced, whenever the word woman is referenced, it means cis women.
In the Equality Act.
Not trans women.
It doesn't mean cis women, it means females of a certain age.
It sucks. It's not great. And honestly...
Why does it suck? You're still you.
I don't really want to talk about it. I just want to ignore it because stuff like this keeps happening. It continuously happens, and you know, at a certain point you kind of get a teeny tiny little bit numb to it. There have been a few people in my DMs last week, not very many, I will say. This is not like a widespread issue, it's just a few aggressive people getting mad at the fact that I didn't want to talk about this. I did talk about it. To be fair, I made an Instagram story.
I hate when people make me pause, it's so annoying. See, the thing about calling the cops if you see a male person in a female space, you probably shouldn't do that in the UK because trespassing isn't generally a criminal act. It's normally dealt with like civilly. So calling the cops in the UK, certainly, I don't know about in America or whatever, would be kind of overkill and possibly wasting their time. If you see a man in like your space, you'd want to like speak to the people at the business and like, I guess file some kind of legal complaint if they don't give a shit. Because like nowadays, I think women are in their right now because of this to demand like certain single sex spaces. I don't really want to talk about it now. I'm going to for 3 hours. I mean, this video is only like 10 minutes long.
Happens, and you know, at a certain point you kind of get a teeny tiny little bit. It's not like a widespread issue. It's just a few aggressive people getting mad at the fact that I didn't want to talk about this. I did.
Oh, so possibly like other trans people like giving this person shit for not really talking too much about this.
Talk about it. To be fair, I made an Instagram.
If you live in the UK, you might see the headline that the Supreme Court ruled that trans women aren't legally women. Seems like that at first, but that's not what they ruled. They ruled that the word woman in 2010 Equalities Act refers to a cis women, not trans women. Still sucks, but it's not as intense as all the rage bait headlines. I mean, I more or less. I mean, were you wrong at the end? There was a lot of rage bait about this. I think you're probably kind of right. And the bit you're wrong at is saying, well, it refers to cis women, not trans women. It refers to females. It means that you were born female.
Story, and I talked about it on stream the day it happened. So I did actually talk about it. I did the thing that people wanted me to do, but because they didn't see that, because stories disappear after 24 hours and they didn't watch the stream, they were coming for me, you know? They were at my throat. They did not like that this person, this trans woman with a platform, is not speaking up for what is right and what is good.
Yeah, you have to join the fucking hive mind. It sucks, man. It's terrible. MTF version of a puna. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
What is important. Yeah, I kind of get it, but like, I don't think that to be trans, you have to be an activist. You don't have to be a social activist.
Oh, some of these people genuinely seem to think that you have to be an activist or you should revoke your trans card. Plenty of people will tell me I'm not trans because I don't identify as anything. But I think what you identify as is meaningless. Like, I've gone through fucking transition. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
To transition as a community, we do need to fight to get respect, but we are a very small community. We need like the help of allies.
When you say we need to fight, like what do these people ever mean when they say that? If we mean show up in large numbers in the streets to scream at people, not gonna help. That's like, I don't know, that's like getting caught in quicksand and your instinct is to thrash around and stuff like that. That's what these people are doing, and it's making it worse. I've been trying to tell people this for years, but no one fucking listens. So it's like, okay then. Okay, I'll just watch you all make twats out of yourselves. I'll just watch you all further degrade the fucking rights movement or whatever until it completely falls apart, which is going to happen anytime soon. Was this Finster's GF before or after Finster transitioned? I think after.
Cis people to step up. We need like certain people in power to pass away suddenly. No one person can really change everything, and I know the counter argument is, well, if everyone thought that, then nothing would be done. The reason
Still using the language, there is still notes of like the TRA in here.
The reason I didn't talk about it is because honestly, I had nothing to say. I wasn't surprised when the rule.
That's based though. I didn't really talk about it because I had nothing to say. That's kind of based, honestly. I'm kind of swinging back and forth a bit. She'll say something that I'm like, I really don't know about that, bro. And then something else she'll say is like, yeah, I wish more people thought like that.
Ruling came out, this kind of thing has been happening non-stop for the past 5 years at least since I started my transition.
Yeah, we've been given a hell of a lot of privileges over the last 10 or 20 years or so. And some of those are being rescinded again.
Keeps on happening.
Like, people presumably still get in massive trouble for misgendering trans women at work, shit like that. We have a lot of privileges. We're losing some of them. But then some of those privileges, in my opinion, certainly, we're going too far. And we're trying to like erase sex from like language and law and stuff. I mean, we've seen that happening for years now. And it's just not a good idea, because what are you replacing it with? Gender identity? Well, anyone can call themselves anything. So what's the point in like insisting some places should be women or men only, when what it means to be a man or a woman is just what you call yourself? That doesn't make any sense.
At the very start, I was motivated and energetic, and I would sign petitions. I was angry. I would post about stuff all the time. I get my friends to sign petitions. And then...
Yes, you were in a cult. I mean, I was kind of similar, but I think it's actually possible for the TRA movement to fall. Too many country governments fund and support this. Well, I mean, they're slowly turning their backs on it, though, aren't they? New Zealand want to potentially do a similar thing to what our Supreme Court has. Was there something in Brazil? Revoking, like, use of puberty blockers? Was it Brazil? Yeah, prohibits the use of hormone blockers in children and adolescents with gender incongruence or dysphoria. The places are like slowly turning their backs on this kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this does get like brought down, you know what I mean? Unpopular opinion here. I don't think cis is inherently a slur. Me neither. But it's often used to dismiss genuine criticisms from those not trans, and that's not okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I try not to use cis because what you're describing is like the vast majority of people. You're basically taking a framework coming from a tiny minority of people and applying it to everyone. And to me, that's ridiculous. Like, that's like the standard. Obviously, society is like cis-normative. You know why? Because we have to make babies to like continue existing. That should be obvious. Same with like heteronormative.
And I kind of realized, like, you know, after like the fifth one, you're like, these don't do anything. These don't work. Case in point, that was
True. Listen, signing petitions, just find something else to do at your time. Even if it takes like 30 seconds. That's too much time spent signing a petition that will do fuck all.
I saw on my Instagram memories there was a petition to stop this.
TERF is supposedly a slur too, doesn't bother me. Well, I see some gender criticals kind of reclaim that kind of thing. And it's more in the way it's said, you know what I mean? It's more when someone spits the word TERF at someone. And the thing is, I was listening to some King Critical stuff last night because Charlie stayed up really late and I didn't. He was talking about the whole dehumanization part of the what is it? The steps to genocide or whatever. And so many of these things that they're saying are happening to trans people. Some of these trans radical types literally do to other people. And we talk about dehumanization. Could you not argue, if you're going to say something like tranny is dehumanizing, that calling women TERFs is dehumanizing? Because we know they're not calling them feminists. They don't think that they're feminists. I don't know. So you're saying the petition I signed to end the war in Gaza won't work. Oh no, that will work. Listen, petitions in Western countries miles and miles and miles away from Gaza are definitely what's going to end the war, I would say.
Supreme Court ruling 3 years ago. It ain't doing nothing. I just didn't have any thoughts, and I thought that posting online would just be a bit performative. It would be performative.
True, it is. It's completely performative. What you're really doing is virtue signaling, ultimately. I don't think virtue signaling is always bad, but it exists. TERF hasn't been an effective slur for a while now. Well, the thing is, you go back 10 years or so, the TERF movement really wasn't much of anything. They were seen as radical freaks, and some of them did seem genuine man-haters. But it's become legitimized because of people like J.K. Rowling getting on board. And people like her who are actually intelligent and actually make fucking points and stuff got involved. And because she got so much hate, that's kind of further justified her, you know. I've been telling people for years that there's constant banging on about J.K. Rowling. All it's doing is legitimizing her. All it's doing is giving her ammo. That when she's asked, oh, why are trans people so awful to you or whatever, as if that's what she actually thought or whatever in originality in the beginning. Well, it's well, I don't know. I'm getting told to kill myself by them 100 times a day. But again, it's yet another thing that I'm sure I tried to fucking tell people. I obviously didn't try hard enough. I'll certainly say that. But just people don't listen. They get so involved in this single-minded shit. Finding a common enemy like J.K. Rowling or whatever. It's the brains just turn off. I don't know why anyone would have been fucking going on at her like that, you know?
Of me to say something if I didn't really feel it in the moment. And I saw a lot of other creators making posts, which is great, you know?
Yeah, here's the thing, when you have this attitude, you're gonna have other people shaming you. It's a bit like when someone gives you shit for not talking about Gaza or not talking about BLM or whatever.
It's fantastic that they are using that platform and expressing themselves, but I don't think I could because it wouldn't be real. I'd be making something up. And how many trans women deserve respect posts do we need to make? I don't know why people were upset at me in my...
Listen, we probably have a ton of disagreements, me and this person, but she's got some good points here. Some of this is actually just true.
DMs anyway, because we are on the same team. I am trans. I am British.
See, that's why we disagree. We're not on this. I'm not on the same team as these fucking losers. These people need to fuck off and shut up.
Suffer from this ruling.
Okay, you might want to calm down a little bit. You all basically agree. Let's just chill.
I didn't really want to talk about it. I know there's the content creator curse of always having to talk about anything and everything or get cancelled, but I personally just don't think that I am that type of creator. I have thoughts and opinions, good ones, the right ones before you come at me, as in the left ones, but they're right, you know? But I don't like to really, yap about them online because I just think it's a bit stressful, sad. It makes me upset.
Listen, this person didn't know that there was a Supreme Court in this country. I don't think I want to hear what they think about politics, quite honestly. I'd be willing to bet you're a lefty because you're trans.
It makes me, it causes arguments. I don't want that. I just want to have as little cortisol as possible, which is difficult because I was born with anxiety, that's why. Medications, please.
Weird.
Being openly trans online, everyone in my life...
Oh my god, my fucking mental health, it's so quirky.
knows that I'm trans because of my social media, and I talk about it so much, making videos to help other trans women and putting myself up as like a potential, this is negative comments, target to people online who don't like me or my people. This is the most activism that I can possibly handle. I think I'm just a bit silly, and we make the silly videos and we make the helpful videos, and that's as much as I can take. I just think that you don't have to be like a hardcore activist to be a trans woman, I think some of the burden should be on cis people to help us out. It's very difficult.
Or just stop bothering. Just live your fucking life.
To fight our way out when we are such a small community. I'm trans. Obviously, I have good opinions about trans people. I'm
God. What does that mean?
Such a small community. I'm trans. Obviously, I have good opinions about trans.
Many trans people do not have good opinions about trans people. Okay, tell me what you think about someone like Blair White or Buck Angel. Then I'll consider whether you have good opinions on trans people.
I'm on the trans people side,
Like, we're in the cult, we just don't want to personally speak out, is what I'm getting.
I think it's important to show to people who are considering transitioning or people who have just started very early in their transition that you can have a normal life, Like, as much as everything I talk about on this channel being about being trans.
Again, this is true. Like, I'm just gonna be like a pendulum on this. And maybe there's some progress being shown here. Maybe this person is at the beginnings of realizing there's another way than what we were just watching on the last video of these insane freaks taking up space in the city center, shouting about stuff that no one fucking agrees with anymore.
On my second channel, I stream, and this is not an ad, I promise. I was so close. I stream and I have videos there and stuff, and it's not really about being trans, it's just kind of about me being silly. I think that it's important to have like somebody that you can look to and be like, wow, my life can be normal. I can transition, I can be happy, I don't have to be bogged down by everything. Like,
you're a monolith according to them, but only when convenient. Yeah, true.
I think if I was thinking about transitioning now in the current climate and I was looking at all these content creators as inspiration and every single one of them was kind of fighting for their life on their story or in their post, like kind of begging, like, please, we need this, like, we are real, respect us, I think I'd just be like, this seems like it's a lot. I don't know if I can really handle that. On top of telling friends and family and HRT and all that stuff, having to then become an activist for myself seems pretty intense. I think it's important to have.
Yeah, like, why the fuck even transition to then just be unhappy and angry all the time? Because you could choose to live a normal life and just try and be happy. Or you could spend the rest of your life shouting about something you can't meaningfully do anything about. I just don't fucking get it, man. And like, some of these people, they honestly could live a normal life if they fucking tried. I'm someone who tried as best I could for years to live a normal life. And it's very difficult for me. And like, too many people, they could actually be happy if they fucking tried. This is never going to make them happy. This like activism shit. It's not something you do when you're happy. It seems like he's over it. He's got a life and personality besides being trans. Yeah, I think so too. And it's good to see, honestly. There's some like weird shit in here. There's some stuff that I very much disagree with on this. But at the same time, this is like 100 times better than a lot of the shit I see. And it's sad that we get to the point where someone has to stand up and say, well, maybe I just don't really want to talk about that kind of stuff. Maybe it's not cool to insist that every single trans person has to talk about this, that, and the other, and has to get angry all in unison, and has to do shit even if they find it performative.
The opposite of that, where you can chill and you can talk about pickles and...
Listen, I've met trans people that are very good at like integrating with like normal life. Have I ever tried bangs? I have. It tends not to work very well. My head shape is kind of weird. Like, my brow comes kind of far forward. And like, my hair's actually a lot more curly than it looks like. Like, it's quite straight here because it's longer. Sometimes I cut, like, the front is a bit shorter. I sometimes cut it in a bit, but yeah. Icky is so close yet so far. She realizes that trans people don't need to be TRAs and have unpopular views to the cult, but hasn't managed to take off the trans ideological lens. What a shame. Well, the thing is, what if this is kind of just progress? What if this person continues to like mature and continues to realize how insane so much of this shit is? Like, I think that's definitely a possibility, and I'm willing to accept. I mean, this person is quite young as well. Like, I don't know how old they are. They look decently younger than me. So hopefully we're seeing like progress, and we're seeing someone who isn't willing to like degrade themselves the way so many people fucking do. A wolf cut? What is a wolf cut? Okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm always funny about hair. I don't like getting my hair cut. Like, it's awkward. I have to sit there for ages. Yeah, I don't know. Autism thing, I think. Oh, hi Cam. Hope you're good.
Granola and
Oh, does Charlie have a wolf cut? Okay, fair enough. The kind of shag mullety kind of thing.
bunnies and Spider-Mans. All the important stuff that is meaningless, and that's the fun of it. You know, I don't have to constantly yap about needing respect. I can show that coming out, transitioning can be the right thing for you because I showcase living a fulfilling.
Yeah, remember when being trans was like a personal thing because you feel a certain way and not just an in to some fucking radical movement that will throw you in the bin the second you say the slightest thing that's against them. I'm sure plenty of people probably want to cancel this fucking person just for thinking slightly differently, just for not wanting to join the fucking outrage. I don't know. Listen, there is definitely stuff that I respect here, even if I think we're very different people, you know.
Relaxing most of the time. Life. One of the best feelings ever is when people message me saying like,
I loved seeing you just living. It was like such good inspiration, and like I finally decided to come out.
That warms.
Yeah, what was I saying earlier? I know some trans people who are like, I've met the odd one certainly, who are like very good at like integrating themselves. There was another trans woman like where I worked in an office for almost 5 years until quite recently. And like, she was like friends with fucking everyone, you know? Just kind of acted normally and is like friendly and stuff. You can like get on. You can have a perfectly okay life if you're trans. What's tripping so many people up is that they get radicalized at the same time. And I presume the kind of media that introduces them to like trans is also radicalizing them at the same time. We've watched people like Jammy Dodger. I know that this fucking shit happens. And it sucks. I think so many of these people are probably better than this, honestly. Some of these like trans activists are probably quite like intelligent and or like creative people, but they're getting sucked into this fucking thought cult that is driving them up the fucking wall. I watch people turn into zombies. I watch videos about these protests. These people will talk about being themselves. They all seem like the same person, copy and pasted to me. They're all saying the same thing. I'm like baffled. I don't know. It's like, it's bizarre. It's like the logical endpoint of like a fashion movement that starts becoming also an identity, like goth or something, but that has gone way past the point of like sense. And it's not just about liking a certain style and liking certain music or whatever. Now it's about having basically exactly the same personality and exactly the same opinions.
My heart. I love that. I got so many of those messages that I like a few over the years that I decided I wanted that to be my role. I wanted to try and show people that you can be happy, you can be healthy, you can, you know, be proudly trans without being like dying in the streets proudly trans. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being an activist and fighting for the rights of.
Like Jamie Dodger regrets the surgery. He changed after that. Was that did he get a metoidoplasty, was it? I can have a look, see if I can find what he was like beforehand. I do need to look at like some really old stuff of his because I went back about 4 years on one video and it was the same shit. Like, he's the same person that he was like 4 years ago, which is terrifying to me. Like, I look back like 2 years and I'm like, who the fuck was that? You know what I mean? How would I feel if my partner wanted to begin presenting as a man? I have no idea. I don't know how I'd begin to answer that. I'm sorry.
Your own group of people, that is fantastic, but it definitely isn't for everyone, and it's definitely not a requirement for doing it. I know, like I said, I do stay informed. I got the big brain inside here. I just don't like to post about it. I like it to be a safe space, and I think that you don't have to get involved either if you really don't want to. It's very good to be informed. It's not good to just constantly digest it and then...
Yeah, I would say it might be good to be informed, kind of consider where you're getting your information from. Just because they're saying stuff that affirms you and that you have some emotional investment in that you're going to agree with because it makes you feel good, that doesn't mean that you're being given good information. It doesn't mean you're being given accurate or reliable information. I mean, you take someone like Erin in the Morning, who is a massive fucking liar, but so many people trust her and stuff like that because she says stuff that like affirms like the trans activist types. Because I mean, she is one herself, you know.
And do some performative activism where you pose but you don't really change anything. I also think that infighting is bad. I think that when we take an L as the community and you know, we did, the laws were changed, wow, everything sucks. I don't think that you should be targeting your own community just because they don't live up to your standards of what you would do if you...
I don't necessarily agree with this. I think, like, I can see how it's annoying for someone like this, getting, like, shamed by TRA types for not speaking out. But truthfully, if stuff has been going wrong and we're seeing all these people saying exactly the same shit that they always have been, going about things exactly the same way and just putting more and more people off, at a certain point, people need to start waking up. And I think the only way is to start pointing fingers and showing people that some of this shit is beyond the pale. So I don't know. I think infighting is fucking fine, honestly. Like, I encourage infighting, even. I think it's fine. And anyway, in these progressive movements, the more infighting, the better. Because it means that they're not fucking going anywhere.
You had the platform. You know, I understand that I have followers, but I got them by just posting pictures, a lot of the time lewd pictures, because I make adult content, and then eventually I had lots of followers. You know, it's not like I sort of chose it. It kind of just happened. I didn't start with the intention of like getting to this point. It kind of gets...
Yeah, I mean, this person succeeded because they actually look... Like, I mean, I would say this person passes. If you were ugly, you wouldn't be able to do this. You wouldn't be able to pull this kind of thing off.
Thrust upon you, and then people kind of forget that you are just a person behind the screen. You're not like a corporate identity, you know? I don't change my little profile picture to like a flag during Pride Month. Oh my god, icky. Pride Week? Girl's busy. I don't have a whole month. Yeah, I don't think infighting is really the way forward as a community, to be like, we took an...
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the larger kind of TRA, trans rights organization or whatever, all of that kind of stuff, they won't listen to anyone else that tells them what the problems are. So unfortunately, people like me are going to have to keep fucking poking the bear about this shit until people start listening, or at least come and have a conversation and try and actually fucking convince me what the problem is. Because a huge problem is, like, people will tell me that I'm like transphobic and I'm this, that, and the other, and that I'm wrong about all this shit, but never explain in any way how. I ask for specifics, I get nothing. It's just, oh, you're bad or whatever. Oh, you're wrong about this shit. Well, like, how? What am I fucking wrong about? Tell me what I've said that is incorrect. Let's have an actual conversation. My inbox is not exactly overflowing with people wanting to. And what does that confirm to me? It suggests to me that these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they don't actually have any, like, proper criticisms. It's just stupid. We're not gonna get anywhere as long as these like radicals continue to like run this shit. Because they failed. They've been failing for years. And we need more people to fucking stand up and say that. And not fear like repercussions, not fear expecting resistance or whatever the fuck these retards say whenever you don't toe the fucking line. So I don't know. I'm a lot more radicalized in the other direction. I do respect what this person's saying, but I think we need more infighting, honestly. We need to... Listen, do you know why there's not that much infighting? It's because any difference of opinion has practically been fucking squashed out. Like, you know what any one of the people at the protest we watched think about someone like Blair White. The word transmed is practically a slur in and of itself. That's how, like, demonized certain ways of thinking are. Even though that's ridiculous. I'm a trans realist. I might be. I'm like kind of trans black-pilled, honestly. I think it's fairly meaningless. I think that we gained certain privileges, that some of which are sliding back somewhat. That's not oppression. That's not losing our rights. We're still human beings. There's still a fucking part of the Equality Act, literally for trans people, and yet we're being genocided, we're being oppressed. How many oppressed minorities literally have a fucking section cut out for them in an Equalities Act? It's preposterous.
This trans influencer who makes all this trans informational content online. I know that sounds very like...
Yeah, but what if they're wrong? If they're wrong, then yes, say that, because they're wrong.
victim-y nonsense, but I'm just using it as an example. Like, I think it's a bit ridiculous to just target people and yap negative things at them and...
Well, what if they're providing criticism? What if there are things that they are saying that the other person finds dishonest or incorrect or potentially dangerous? Like, criticism is healthy. We need more criticism, quite frankly.
Say how they suck and how you would do a better job just because they didn't post like a trans woman.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what they're saying, then that's bullshit. But let's, and I don't know this person's saying this, to be clear. Let's not mistake that for genuine criticism. Let's not mistake that for people trying to offer alternatives when it's very clear that shit's not working anymore. Let's try and do that. Jesus Christ.
Deserve respect. Post. I am a trans woman. Of course I think that. In the war against the woke mind virus, I am on the side of the woke mind virus. But I don't...
That's cringe.
think that I am like frontline sergeant or like, you know, someone with a gun. I think I am...
Yeah, unfortunately, this person, you know, they said they didn't even know there was a Supreme Court. They're quite ignorant. They're in the spotlight for something that's got nothing to do with like politics or social issues or whatever. So I probably shouldn't hold them to the same standard that that I would hold someone like Jammy Dodger, for example. At the same time, I don't know. I have a feeling maybe in 5 years' time or something, this person will start cringing when they hear themselves back saying stuff like this. But at the same time, compared to what a lot of like trans influencers are saying, this is kind of 1,000 times better, you know. This person at least clearly has something of a brain in there. And I appreciate that. I respect that. Why would you be for the mind virus? Get a grip, please. Well, this person still thinks that it's like pro-trans. This person, I think, doesn't understand how far it's gone and how we need to kind of wind the clock back a bit.
Over here at the back, court jester style. I claim this as my role. This is my piece.
And then the other thing is, you never know like how much irony they're like throwing in. Some of these people, they like to dip in and out of it constantly.
I want to post silly haha stuff and some helpful, informative content, you know? Inspiring the troops through entertainment. I am uplifting morale. Ultimately, I am a clown. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk where I just whinge and whine. I hope some of it was helpful. I would like to reiterate the main point of this video. You can transition and chill and be happy.
People with genuine criticism get lumped in with the people who genuinely hate all trans people. Yeah, don't I fucking know it. Jesus Christ. That's the thing. I just wish people would just listen to the actual things that I say. And if there's a problem with something I say, then fucking tell me. That's fine. People criticize me quite often. Several people that watch me and appear in my chat quite often, they started out like criticizing me. And I'm like, you know, when I engage with them, we kind of work it out. And it's fine. Like, I don't know if people just think that I'm not going to be receptive or I'm just going to fucking spout off at them. But it really depends on what they're saying and like how much they actually engage with me. Sometimes people have very fair criticisms, and I would rather hear what people have to say. So long as it's substantive, so long as it's not just, oh, you've become a transphobe, or, oh, you hate yourself. Which is always ironic when you listen to how most of these people got to become trans in the first place. Seems like self-hatred is a fairly common thing, unfortunately. So she is an activist. Yeah, we're definitely not all the way there. I would certainly give this person a lot more grace than quite a few people I've watched. I think maybe there's progress that is being made. And maybe this person, like they definitely have a better like outlook and a better perspective. Like the idea, oh, you can be trans and be like happy and be a relatively like normal-ish person. I like that. I respect that. I think that's good. It's what I used to strive for. But yeah. I don't even think KJK blankly hates trans people. I have no idea.
You didn't know that I thought that. I do. You can also buy my clothes at ick.studio, and also you can press like, I guess, and subscribe, and you can give me a kiss on the cheek.
There we go, Icky. I don't know if I've I don't know if I've like bounced back and forth between agreement and disagreement so many times watching a 10-minute video before, but here we go. Listen, like I said, I respect some parts of this. I think this person is quite young, not the most informed person out there. Where they are informed, it's quite possible it's some dodgy stuff. But I don't know. I'm at the point where I see some semblance. I see some gold in amongst the shit, and I do want to try and focus on like the good part, you know? Because I don't actually hate trans people, believe it or not. And if a trans person is saying something that is like just unironically fucking true, then yeah, great. Did say she lies and is an activist in her own way. Well, you know, I think the best I can hope maybe is that this person is kind of on the way out of that a little more. Does she have a gawk? I would presume so. Any of these people that do like OnlyFans and stuff is not generally lucrative, I don't think, unless you are pre-op. I feel like being openly trans girl, talking about being trans and encouraging other trans people to accept themselves is enough. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Is court decision bad? Your very existence already does that. I don't agree with that. You're a male person. If people call you a man, that's fair enough. Who cares? We need to stop being so obsessed with like these labels that aren't necessarily for us. We all want what we can't have. Tough shit, you know what I mean? Being a trans person means existing as yourself as a revolutionary act right now. That's retarded. That's fucking retarded. I know. I'm glad I don't have this kind of audience, quite honestly. All the pit crews in front of trans flags. I'm glad I don't have to pacify any of these kinds of people.